Hey, good morning. Pete, North Las Vegas. Been a little while since I did a firearms related video. I was out of town for a while. I got sick for a while and I had an eye problem for a while. Anyway, we're back online. I recently purchased this brand new Wilson Combat barrel, and they were having a Memorial Day sale. And from the time I ordered it, which was Tuesday, it showed up Friday from Arkansas here to Southern Nevada. So that was pretty quick shipping too. Anyway, these normally go for $315. It was on sale for $236. Couldn't pass it up. Okay, so this is my recent LR308 build, and it has the same exact barrel on it. And so I decided that this rifle needed some spare parts. So besides the sale price, that's why I went and got this new barrel, have a spare barrel for it. And then I've also gone out and bought a spare bolt carrier group. And I got a spare trigger for it. And I have a spare straight gas tube, which is at Armalite spec, 15.4 inches, because I'm probably going to buy a spare rifle speed adjustable gas block, which uses the straight gas tube. So anyway, I'm kind of putting together spare parts for this rifle here. Okay, so let's get this thing out of the packaging, and it comes packaged pretty well. Let's see if we can find a scratch on it on the outside. So we'll check it out, see if it's cosmetic or aesthetically pleasing. And then I'm going to borescope this brand new one. And then as a comparison, I'm going to borescope this one. And this has about 60, 80 rounds in it. I kind of lost count, but it's really a low round count barrel. When I got this barrel, it was pristine, not a scratch on it on the outside. The barrel, the rifling, chamber, everything was perfect. It only had one little minor issue, and that was the gas port. When they drilled the gas port hole, they left some, there were some leftovers on the inside of the gas port. And I was able to remove most of the tailings, or whatever you want to call it, and get it brushed out before I fired the rifle. After I fired the rifle, I borescoped it again, and there was no issues with the gas port or anything happening to the inside of the barrel with the leftovers. So that was the only little minor issue I had with the barrel. So let's get this thing out and take a look. I'm going to do some close-ups. You guys see if you can find a scratch on this thing. Okay, so it comes with double little vinyl protectors. It has some on the shipping tube, and then it's they also put some on the barrel itself. So, and then the way it was packaged in the box was pretty good. So the chances of this thing getting damaged in shipment, I don't think it's going to happen unless it really gets slammed around. All right, well, let's do some close-ups on the external on this barrel, and like I said, let's see if we can find a scratch. Okay, the crown. The ID part of the crown looks pretty good. The outside area, like right here, there's a little bit of unfinished business, but overall not too bad. I would say that the original barrel was probably a little bit better in this area. The outer thread there could have been maybe... that could have been worked on a little bit. The shoulder looks good. So like if you're gonna run a can and you're gonna direct thread it, and I haven't blueprinted it or checked it out for straightness or anything, but it looked well done. And like I said, the threads look really good. It's just that last thread on the very end here. It looks like maybe a barrel got banged around a little bit. All right, well, let's continue on down the barrel. Gas journal looks pretty good. Let's roll it around. No dings or dimpled. There's that oddball twist rate again that I talked about in the videos about the original barrel. That part looks pretty good. We'll keep coming down here, see if there's anything dinged up or outrageous. I mean, that all looks really good. Let's check the barrel extension. Barrel extension, no complaints. That's very well done. A little bit of leftovers in there. We'll get that cleaned up. All right, let's check the lug area. The lugs are done very nice. Feed ramp's very nice. All right, so the parts of the crown that don't really matter could have been cleaned up a little bit better. Other than that, that's the only thing. So let's take a look inside the barrel and see what's going on. We'll see if they left anything on the inside of the gas port like they did on the first barrel I bought. Okay, Wilson. There's the gas port again. Same exact thing on this on the second barrel here. There's a lot of leftovers around the gas port. So I'm going to have to spend a little time cleaning that up. And like I said, on the first barrel, I managed to get almost like 99% of it out of there before I fired the rifle. It's just annoying that when you spend this kind of money on a barrel that well, okay. Let's check out the rest of it. We'll go down and take a look at the chamber. And sometimes I'll upload the video directly off this test long, but kind of makes for a longer video. All right, so we're at the okay, so lands look pretty good. They're symmetrical. They seem to be machined okay. I'm not going to show every square inch of this barrel, otherwise we'd be here all day watching this video. But anyway, that looks pretty good. I didn't see anything outrageously wrong with the chamber. Like there's no big dings or dents. It's pretty smooth. So there's the back side of the extension lugs. Those look really good. Yeah, no complaints with that. Okay, well, let's take a look down my original barrel. And like I said, the gas port was the same way on this thing. There was a bunch of leftovers, and they just didn't get all the burrs and didn't get the gas port cleaned up as well as I thought they should. Okay, so here's the gas port on the original barrel, and you can see all the leftovers are gone. Like I said, I got it cleaned up pretty well before I even fired the rifle. Like I said, I'm not going to show every square inch of the barrel, but there was no damage to the barrel during firing, even with some of the gas port that I couldn't get cleaned up. But I mean, when you're spending $300 for a barrel, come on, Wilson. You can do better on the gas port. Okay, so I covered this in a couple other videos when I was doing the build on this rifle, but we'll just kind of hit it real quickly again. There is no difference between the Odin Works and the Wilson Combat BCG. They are identical, other than the logo. So I don't know where Wilson Combat and Odin Works are sourcing their BCGs from, but these things are identical. I mean, I looked at them very closely, literally with a magnifying glass, trying to see if I could see any machining differences or any dimensionals or anything that was different between them. And they are both identical. They both use high pressure firing pins and bolts. And I covered that in the build videos for the LR308, so we're not going to hit that one real hard again. Other than the high pressure uses a smaller diameter firing pin and a smaller diameter firing pin hole on the bolt. Okay, so we're talking about bolts right now because I'm going to headspace this barrel before I install it. Two reasons. It's a little bit easier that way for me, and why would you install a bad barrel on a build? So we'll go over the numbers a little bit and how I came up with them. If you're a professional gunsmith or you're more of a 308 or 7.62 NATO expert, you may disagree with my numbers, but I've built quite a few FN FALs in the past where I wanted to headspace those to shoot 308 in addition to NATO, and I've never had any issues doing it this way. So let's start off with what Climber thinks. You're going to see that the numbers change between 308 and 7.62 if you're going to use Climber headspacing gauges. Forster says nope, they're the same. And then these are the SAMI numbers. So you can see that between Climber, Forster, and SAMI, there's some differences in the numbers. So who's right, who's wrong, I don't know. But what I did was I took all of the numbers for go and I took all the numbers for no go and I averaged them. And then I said for go, the average came out to 1.6315. And I just rounded it up and said, okay, my nominal, my perfect head spacing for a go is going to be 1.632. And I can go, this is an average, because if you look at these numbers, before you get into no-go territory, the average is between 4 and 6. So I just said, okay, we'll go plus 5. We'll hit that one right in the middle too. So my go number is going to be 1.632 plus 5 thousandths. So I can go up to about 1.63 before I start getting a little nervous on my head spacing. Now, like I said, these average numbers are just to be able to shoot 308 and 7.62. If you have a rifle and you're just setting it up for 308, the numbers are going to be a little different. And for no-go, like I said up here, plus 5. Now, once we go to plus 6, you hit 1.638. And that's getting into field territory, getting close to field on a SAMI. And you're at field on Forster for both numbers. So Climber says, no, go ahead and go a little more. I'm okay with that. So like I said, averaging all these numbers, this is what I came up with. So that's perfect. Getting up around 1.637. I'm still probably not going to worry about it. But if I hit 1.638, if I can close the bolt on a 1.638, then I'm going to say, okay, this may not be what I want. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to start off with a 1.630, a go. If we go back to the numbers, 30 Climber on 7.62 says 633. They want you to be a little larger on that one. And as far as the rest of them go, 30, 30. SAMI says 30. And there's your average. So I'm just going to say, you know what, 1.630 is good for a go. So let's get it in the barrel and see if she head spaces. Okay, here's our go. Stick it in here, see what happens. Bolt should spin. And it does. Well, that's probably hard to see on camera, but it locked up. So the go is a go. Okay, so down here at the bottom, I said nominal for the average was 1.632, which I happen to have. So let's see if we can get the bolt to close up on a 1.632. Okay, so I have the 1.632 installed. Let's see if I can get this bolt to rotate. And yes, it head spaces on a 1.632. Okay, so we just saw that it will head space on a 1.632. I'm willing to go 5 thousandths bigger, up to 1.637, but that's as far as I want to go. If it headspaces on a 1.637, I'm going to be a little bit on the nervous side, but let's find out. I do happen to have a 1.637. So I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but let's see if it'll close up on that. Hopefully it won't. Okay, so I have the 1.637 headspacing gauge in there, and let's see what happens. Okay, it will not lock up, so that's good. I'm happy with that. That means that I'm somewhere between 1.632 and under 5 thousandths. So I'm satisfied that this rifle will safely shoot both 308 and 7.62 by 51 NATO. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into this barrel and try to clean up that gas port and remove some of the leftovers, and then we'll do another quick bore scope, and that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so before we get back to the barrel and cleaning out the gas port, I just wanted to mention this one more time. I think it's worth mentioning. On head spacing, these are the numbers that I chose. Depending on what type of rifle you're using, what type of rifle you're trying to head space, I'm trying to make sure this barrel will shoot both 7.62 and 308. So you may or may not want to go with the numbers that I selected. But I've used these numbers in the past, and they've always worked out. But like I said, these are the numbers that I came up with. They may not be what you want to use. All right, let's get back to the barrel cleaning. Okay, so I managed to get the big stuff out of there, and I basically just used a paper clip, brush, paper clip, brush, and just kept going until I knocked all the big leftovers out. And I do have some JP paste, so I may come in there with some paste and see if I can smooth the edges out a little bit. But yeah, so that concludes today's video. Also, I was being a little facetious and sarcastic if you didn't pick up on that. I did not buy a spare barrel. I did not buy a spare bolt carrier group or trigger or anything else that's going to be coming along here in the next couple of months. I'm planning on building another 308. I'm still deciding on whether I'm going to use New Frontier Armory receivers, although I didn't have really a single problem with them. Everything was perfect fit-wise. But I may go with the high pattern upper receiver instead of the low pattern. New Frontier Armory is a low pattern receiver. And DPMS comes in 2 patterns, if you're not familiar with LR308s. All right, well, Pete, North Las Vegas. Over and out.